Thank you, my fellow Fallout brethren, for joining us once again for an in-depth look at some of the coolest rooms this side of Appalachia. As always, your hosts, the Bop
and Obi John,
are here to dilate your pupils once again with custom madness. Today, we are in for the long haul, so reach for that Nuka Cherry and prepare for a full 100 points of HP restoration as we tackle 3 more personal homages to the vast world of Fallout. So our first submission is from JT Cozart, which also happens to be his gamer tag on Fallout 76. This is a Diamond City dream, and why I say that is because some of the items here would be awesome to see at trader markets in that specific town to spruce up the old sanctuary.
There's a lot to extrapolate here.
Well, have you know, extrapolation's my specialty.
Do it, Bop.
I feel like I need to take a deep breath right before I would say, for instance, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
This ain't Mary Poppins. Get to it.
Okay, this is truly a custom extravaganza. So first we're going to take a look at the big picture of each section of this room and then break it down.
I'm impressed by this first shot. It looks like a mini control center tucked away in an underground vault.
I totally agree. His choice of chair and what is an awesome custom table made from a butcher's block stained ebony is impressive, not to mention the 1-inch galvanized silver pipe legs.
He sure does know how to lay pipe. And that vault boy on the left must have been painted because those 76 controller stands didn't come green.
Man, it must be nice to have good eyes.
You could always hit up the Oregon trade sites on the dark web.
And to that I cry, Nuka-Cola!
Who thinks to put salt rock with LEDs on their desk to resemble uranium?
Maybe it's a case of uranium fever. He's really thought of some great ideas. Everything is aged yet retro.
It's very uniform with the helmets, floating shelf and plasma rifle. Also, the wall has a cool texture that works here.
Yeah, it really does. Those screens are AG32C curved screens that allow gameplay with a left and right periphery.
And a lot more money than a standalone VR system.
That's darn skippy. I'll briefly mention that the owner of this room confided that he custom made that computer tower out of wood and an old ATX motherboard mount.
What would that be called? Thinking inside of the box?
I would say I'm more of an inside-the-box thinker if you catch my drift.
We better move on quickly, Bob, because there's a lot more here to discuss.
10-4, sir. Looking to the right of the room may be the least notable to me from a distance, and I think it's because that door puts a complete stop to the decor.
But don't forget the vinyl clock that's set to when the bombs drop for the photo.
Okay, that's a nice touch. Touche, Obi-John.
It doesn't stop there. He's got a lot of stuff going on here.
And to the die-hard fans, I see what you mean. This area has an Easter egg from Fallout 3, and it's dog meat. He's sitting right behind that number 3 in a blatant reference to 3 Dog. You know, the DJ of Galaxy News radio station.
Oh yeah, playing that smooth jazz.
Oh, you silly bastard. He was playing all the stuff before the Great War happened, remember?
Touche, Bob, touche.
He also sent me this photo of the record player, which depicts an Australian-exclusive Fallout 76 vinyl.
Oh, that must be the one that plays Country Roads.
I swear, Obi-John, if you were a chick...
Let me do one, Bob. How about the custom New Vegas card display?
You're the expert on that one. Do tell.
Looks like he's done a custom cutout with multiple layers. He's got a bull, the 2-headed bear, and the card and chip slots. This really looks like it's one of a kind.
That's definitely taking the bull by the horns on that project. If we turn our attention to the left of these shelves, we have the legendary Shish Kebab from Fallout 4, and yes, that's a custom also.
I'd love to have me that Tunnel Snakes gas tank for my Harley.
Yeah, then all you need is the snake jacket they sell on Etsy or eBay. Notice I didn't mention Bethesda because they're always sold out there.
I know, right? When they dropped to $50, it was like an immediate out of stock.
It's a travesty, man, but what's not a travesty is that custom GNR shadow box with the independently controlled LEDs.
Yeah, it's a good idea, but I wonder how many people think this guy's a 24/7 Guns N' Roses fan.
I can see the confusion with that. Wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing unless it was anything recent. Poor Axel can't sing his way out of a shadow box.
Yeah, the era of hair bands has ended with Vince Neil and Axel.
Don't forget Sebastian Bach. But I dare say he's the better singer of the 3 currently.
You know your 80s, Bob.
Yeah, because I'm as old as Uncle Leo.
Yeah, but you don't look like a super mutant.
Tell that to the lack of action I get.
We gotta change that, Bob.
Facts, my friend. Well, this side of the wall I do like. That smaller door reminds me of a closet that might be in a vault, probably due to that well-placed sign.
Yeah, that's a nice touch in here. It makes me want to open it and see the contents.
I like this guy's setups. They're really unique and Easter eggy, but what I think he could use to level up is some better display shelves.
Yeah, we've seen some issues with shelf choices for such good merchandise.
It's not that it's terrible, it just could use a little more space for the items. It looks a little crammed and possibly could use a glass case upgrade with some lighting. I know that a bigger shelf probably won't work because of that godforsaken door that has no business in there would crash into it.
I think those shelves are out of convenience rather than for display.
I know it's a minor gripe, but there's a ton to unpack, so let's break it down. Okay, first off, I love what he did with the Bethesda NCR helmet and the custom phrase on the top, but it's too bad you can't see it until you take it off the shelf.
It's a personal add-on that I'd call an Easter egg.
Agreed. Now, where the cool stuff comes in is that Legate Lanius helmet, which you can find from Zap It Props on Etsy.
I went and looked at his site, and it's way cool. He had options for wearable or stationary helmet props with magnets, cooling fans, and lights. His work is better, dare I say, than the GameStop fodder we've already seen.
I like the GameStop helmets also, but these are another world compared to those. Just look at the detail on what I believe is the T45D helmet.
I dabble in the ways of customizing, and this looks pristine.
The Enclave helmet isn't shabby looking either. Man, credit where credit is due. Hopefully all of our watchers will pay his store a visit and pick something up to support him. Now, moving on to the right, we see the T51B from GameStop and some custom-made Nuka bottles.
I wonder what he used for the liquid to get the coloring in them.
He told me he used Monster energy drinks, and I wonder how long these will hold up.
He can be the guinea pig to test their longevity.
Well, it's not Nobel Prize worthy, but I'm interested in the results. What's cool is these were some of the first of his custom items, so they probably no doubt hold a special place in his room. Moving down to that first Fallout themed shelf is some personalized goodies.
He's got a Vault-Tec acceptance letter with an employee card.
Dude, don't mess around, and for our ah moment,
I can see real love in nobody but you for all my life.
it's always nice to include the missus so that she can't talk too much garbage about your collection.
Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
In all fairness, we don't know jack about her. She may be entirely supportive.
I'm sure she'll be happy we mentioned her.
I'd like to just remind her, if she's watching, that there are many jealous nerds now that are saying, see, his wife is on board.
Yep, to the woman worthy, we salute you.
So moving on. The sign there isn't Fallout lore, but worthy of attention if you ask me.
The rest looks to be scattered loot crate and a Funko Pop.
And with that, let's move downward.
Oh wow, a Pip-Boy creation kit.
Yep, those are for the die-hard Fallout fans that love frustrating projects with a good payoff.
That pistol on top must have been a reminder that he almost blew his head off trying to make it.
Now that would be a real-world self-inflicted bloody mess perk right there.
Yeah.
Right next to that, it appears that we have a Fallout 76 drinking cup and a 3D printed helmet along with an Atomic Atlas statue.
Even though I'm not a huge fan of this shelf layout, I really like the items here.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Also, the glow shrooms are a nice touch, but this shelf just doesn't do them justice. So, moving on.
That Sugar Bombs paraphernalia is making me hungry.
That's just breakfast fodder, bro, when you have the cookbook for all 3 square meals to the right over there.
I feel a rumbling in my tumbling.
Come on, man. We only got 2 more rooms left and a plethora of collectibles left to comment on.
You owe me dinner after, Bob.
Alright, deal. Let's mini nuke these shelves and move on. Well, what do we have here?
Looks like Jangles is humping that mini nuke.
I think that was the intent. Boy, is he in for a surprise.
Nah, this monkey knows. It's nuka time, baby.
You're like a white chef from South Park, bro.
Even an atomic bomb needs some sweet loving from time to time.
I assume by the look on his face that it's post-coitus. But anyway, this is a pretty nice looking shelf. I like the way he matched the blues.
Yeah, pretty standard stuff here.
And with that, I will take the opportunity to progress the film roll.
This shelf is a winner from what I'm seeing.
It really is well spaced, so everything can be seen and oozes with purpose.
After that Jangle shelf, don't say oozes.
Oh, sorry my descriptive prowess isn't up to your standards.
Just don't let it happen again, Bob.
I just couldn't think of a better word to describe this brilliance. This is completely organized so you can see everything, and it really speaks to the Fallout world.
I like the Fallout 4 pocket watch and the Brotherhood statue across from it. It's a good mix of gold and bronze.
I also love that he put those Vault Boy tree ornaments on a Fallout box riser. It all looks so good together, but the standout piece is that Fox portrait that says, "I win again." That actually appears to be signed by his voice actor, Wes Johnson.
Wow, that's really cool.
I really love how he uses items to contrast others on some of these shelves. For instance, this has a vintage theme with that old radio and a 1960s monkey cymbal toy, which resembles the clapping monkey traps of Fallout 3. And by the way, adding that plasma grenade is fire. It doesn't stop there because the red Nuka fridge with some cryptic looking stickers on the side has a great vibe also.
I've noticed some of those green mushrooms throughout his collection. I wonder how many there are total.
That could be a fungus thing to add up. So for all the cultists in us, we have the Holy Mothman shelf with some of the items from the pre-war museum at Point Pleasant.
We are in Fallout 76 territory here.
Right you are, my fine feathered friend. I kind of dig that plushie to the left, but these shelves could use some good lighting because otherwise it kind of gets lost in the dark.
Yeah, we mentioned how the shelves don't quite work, and this display confirms that. Cool stuff, though.
Yeah, maybe a cool addition to the shelf would be a bug zapper that lights it up 24/7.
Hey, isn't that a Wabbajack from Skyrim to the left of that door?
Shh, we don't speak of Skyrim here.
Sorry, Bob. Just wanted to look smart.
You treat that staff like Voldemort's name, Obi-John, and zip it. Okay, so right out the gate, I'm not so sure the floating shelves work here with the bobbleheads because it kind of throws off the vibe with the weapons wall.
That's a bit nitpicky, don't you think?
Sure, it's not a deal breaker, just kind of a subjective dislike of mine. You know, maybe if you would have put a long gun or sword up there, it would have worked better.
I guess I could see that.
But moving on, we see a Grognak axe, which the head is 3D printed and the handle is wrapped with fake leather and 1-inch EMT conduit. Came out pretty good.
The comic next to it is a great addition.
I love it also. I'm a fan of the Super Sledge, so it's nice to see that too.
What a cool idea to put the caps inside the outline of West Virginia.
What makes that even cooler is that this guy lives there.
I'm starting to feel some jealousy.
And you would be justified in that emotion. Turning our attention to the last wall, we need to talk about this amazing custom Enclave blind display. So this consists of 26 individually hand-painted panels.
I wonder how he freehanded that.
Well, case in fact, he didn't. I had to ask how it was done, so he confided he used a projector on the blinds to trace the image first, and then removed them, taped them together, and started the long process of painting them.
Wow, A for effort.
Yeah, this had to take some major patience to complete.
Those tales from the West Virginia Hills magazine collection above the blinds remind me of those choose your own adventure books from the 80s you read through on this channel.
Well, I stopped doing those because I don't get a lot of traffic on those videos, but these totally remind me of that also.
On the right side, he appears to have some sort of fan art.
That's true. He was asking if any fans happen to know the artist who created that Deathclaw on Etsy because he'd love to get in touch with her again. It does look really good, so help a brother out, will you? And just leave it in the comments if you know. Those canvas prints to the left are nice additions to the wall, and modification was done on the bottom left one, but it fits the room nicely.
Overall, I really enjoy reviewing this room, and I hope we get more submissions like this.
Very true, my friend, and with that, we must move on to the next room. So now we gaze upon Ian Jam's tribute to Fallout, and holy jam-packed, Batman!
It's funny how his name matches his collection.
You know, don't get me wrong, I love all these pieces he has, and he's a collector of all things. My biggest issue right up front is the space.
He really needs to expand his shelving, or start over with new shelves, and then space out all those items in an organized manner.
You know your stuff, Obi-John. That's exactly what needs to happen. He's paid too many visits to Bethesda Gear, and now he's over-encumbered.
It looks like a Where's Waldo drawing without Waldo in it.
If this collection was allowed to breathe a bit, I think it would bring it to life. Also, I noticed some mix and matching outside the realm of Fallout.
Well, I think that speaks to him being a lover of all art.
True, but I believe Fallout stands on its own and doesn't necessitate otherworldly merch next to it.
One more nitpick. He has those COAs for the pickups just lying on the shelf. Instead, he could file them in a cabinet to keep them safe from any damage. Just anywhere but where they are.
Yep, they look a bit tacky laying out front and center. I thought about maybe suggesting frames for them, but I thought that might just be padding his diploma wall and making people think he's got a PhD until closer inspection.
Maybe a floating shelf with the frame certificates on the wall behind them?
Facts, man, but seriously, dude's got the stuff. It just needs to be organized.
I really feel like this is a case of too much too soon.
In all fairness, we could use some pics from farther out to get a bigger picture of the space, but we'll just work with what we have. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's go into some detail on some of his standout items.
Let's start with that poster. Shout out to the Protectrons.
Yeah, it's funny, I actually bought a Robbie the Robot toy for my Fallout room because he so closely resembles them. I love when movie media and gaming media cross paths. It really makes for a joyous occasion. So this is just beyond cool. Dude has one of the 10 signed fan-made nuked cars by Andy Hibbs.
Wow, that is a piece I would storm the beaches of Normandy for.
I would dedicate my useless shell of a body as a human shield on that beach for a shot at that. I love it.
Looks like we have a box collector also.
Well, this could be a eureka moment because if he's willing, he could store those somewhere out of sight to make room for his awesome collection of Fallout-only goods.
Shh, Bob, you're gonna sound biased.
Nah, man, I say ditch the fluff and go with the gruff.
So you want him to start using a masculine voice?
Absolutely, and to do that, he should stick to Fallout merchandise only.
I didn't know that was predominantly masculine to do.
Remember the More You Know star from the 80s, John?
Always using flashbacks from before my time, Bob. Hey, it's Nukatat. Never mind.
That's a first, Obi-John. Never heard you stopped cold in your tracks mid-catchphrase. But as I view this wall, I can see why.
This can't be finished.
Nah, it isn't. I know that this great bloke is just overwhelmed and underpaid.
I like all these items, just not here.
Yes, and for the constructive criticism of the day, we say start over here, get some shelves, and pattern the space with some like items, spaced out reasonably, of course.
There seems to be a lot of room he could use here.
Yep, a little cleanup and some rethinking could turn this from a wasteland to an oasis.
Great items, man. Just need some TLC.
Take us out, Obi-John.
Introducing Room 3.
For our final room, we start strong with a collection more so than a display from Michael Kazazian. Forgive me if I pronounced that wrong, my guy.
He's got a great piece here from E3 in 2008.
You're darn tiddly-ootin' he does, and why I say that is because this is Fallout 3 related, which happens to be my favorite of the series, and is a throwback to the Viewmasters I grew up with from the 80s.
You're old as Lorenzo Cabot, Bob.
Yeah, but I only look as old as, say, Leo Stahl.
Wasn't he a junkie at Megaton?
He was, but also a fantastic bartender, and besides, it wasn't like he was hurting anyone.
Direct quote. Good memory, Bob.
See, I'm no stinking strung-out junkie.
Only for Fallout. It's nougat time, baby.
So I wonder what these go for on the used market.
Last time I saw one, I think it went for between $400 and $600.
That sounds about right. Moving right along, we can view his pop vinyl collection, which looks pretty damn impressive.
Looks like most of the Chase variants are there.
Yep, I used to have all these, and I see a pretty good representation up until they started making them for Fallout 76. Good stuff, sir. Again, I'm going to mention this is more of a collection photo than a room display.
It's almost a display. Didn't anyone ever tell him the floor is lava?
My sentiments as well, but I'm trying to see this as a lack of space or maybe just an overall shot of items obtained. I say we start breaking down these shelves.
Commence the critique.
So to kick us off, what do you think?
The top shelf is looking a bit cluttered.
It is. I'd say downsize just a bit or add some larger pieces that are spaced out better. It only continues into the next shot, but only worse.
Yeah, it's a Think Geek party up there, isn't it?
Good advertisement, but poor layout. Again, just utilize the space better and you'll be on your way to good karma. This first shelf is also pretty cluttered, but those Vault Boys do look good on those risers.
I'm always curious what people find laying around to use for those.
I can speak from personal experience when I say I have wrapped Blu-ray cases with printer paper to give height to my Transformer collection. Not saying he did this here, but whatever he chose looks better than Blu-ray cases.
You were in your infancy collection phase, Bob. Don't beat yourself up about it.
Hey, it got the job done. Let's move on. Okay, these next shelves need a little work, but that bottom one isn't horrible.
Those Mega Merge figures need to vacate that top shelf.
And how. And the pins have no place here either. Some simple fixes, but that second shelf down, I'm not mad at.
The black and white with the color splashes pop well.
They do. It's just a hair cluttered feeling, but workable.
These last two bottom shelves are hurting my eyes a little.
You know, I've always said I don't appreciate box displays, and he's ventured down that unforgiving road.
I think it might be more cluttered than the top shelf.
Agreed. I'm glad my poor vision doesn't let me see the problem that is these bottom displays. I mean, I see potential if certain items were removed and placed deliberately, but this just looks like a pure storage, not display.
The top looks good here, and look, he's got a Tranquility Lane watch.
Cool to see one of the 500 timepieces they made of that, but it doesn't touch my customs that were made before that one.
You should tell him about your video that tells the whole history and background of those.
I think you just did. But to clarify to all our watchers, go check out the case of the mysterious timepieces. I'll leave that in the link below for everyone. But back to this gentleman's collection. Too many small various items adorn the bottom shelf and distract from the direction here.
That is what I see also, but he does have a Radglow watch.
Since we are huge watch nerds, I can appreciate him wanting to display that, but pick a different spot for the love of Beacon Hill Apartments.
Hey, nice use of your heritage.
I knew you'd use that against me when I said it, you lousy mole rat.
Just keeping it real.
You know, I really dig these Funko Mystery minifigures because they remind me of the Little Homies action figures that you would find in vending machines in the grocery stores around the 90s.
Oh yeah, they have that same cartoony feel, right?
For show, but these are definitely better and I love the way he has them arranged.
I think these are the same risers he used for the other shelf.
They really work and that centerpiece gives me rads.
Quick, pop some Rad away.
I'm gonna need it after seeing this. Well done, sir. Okay, last shelf. There are moments of greatness like the last photo, and then there are moments of mediocrity.
I've noticed he has a ton of the Mega Merge figures. Why not find a cool way to display those outside of their boxes? Like a shadow box on the wall.
Well, I think we must keep in mind that some of the peeps just don't want to open certain items, but that is a good suggestion if he's willing to break out a razor. Otherwise, I see a lot of scattered items that have no worldly business of being on that shelf together.
I did like quite a few things in this room, and I think there's a lot of reassembling to get it to the awesome status.
In his defense, he is more of a collector rather than a displayer.
Words of comfort, Bob.
That time of year is right around the corner, so I thought I would include his Fallout Christmas tree, which, although small, has a good presence for his presence.
Cool double word meaning. The Vault-Tec layout underneath is the finishing touch it needed for sure.
It looks like a comfy festive space for the upcoming holiday, and those vinyls are begging to be played with the mood that this tree's giving off.
Deck the halls, Bob.
Oh, I will, Obi-John. And with that, our Fallout Room Reviews Part 3 comes to a close, but we'll leave you with the hope of more to come and a happy new year of Fallout bliss. We are eager for new rooms to dissect, so send us your submissions to g1toys2014 at gmail.com, and don't forget to subscribe for more unique content in the year to come. We just hit 1,000 subscribers, so we're excited to keep bringing you new and entertaining material, so come back to visit like a nutcracking soldier and fall in to Fallout. Cheers.